Big future in architecture. Our vision is to create a new city in America that sets a global standard for urban living, expands human potential, and becomes a blueprint for future generations. It is the base idea for Mark Lohr's projected utopia to be built by Bjarke Ingels Group, BIG. Although the work of Bjarke Ingels Group may be deemed unrealistically sustainable and faces criticisms because of his environmentally progressive work and methodology, Bjarke Ingels presents a greater example of what the future of sustainable architecture will be through the mixing of pragmatic and utopian ideals. Of course, pragmatic and utopian ideals begin somewhere. Bjarke Ingels, age 47, grew up in Copenhagen, Denmark. In 2001, he returned to Copenhagen to co-found the architecture firm Plot, a precursor to BIG, together with Belgian OMA colleague Julian de Smet. The company received national and international attention for their innovative designs. This company would later disband at the end of 2005 and be replaced with Bjarke Ingels Group, BIG. Much of Bjarke Ingels' work is recognized for its environmental sustainability and futuristic innovations. As a well-known designer, Bjarke Ingels' designs have been praised and criticized. To name a few of his: Mountain Dwelling, Copenhagen Waste Plant, 8 House, VM, Via 57, and 79 Park. One of BIG's most famed buildings, the Copenhagen Waste Burning Ski Slope in Copenhagen, Denmark, has both received praises and criticisms. The New York Times to Vogue magazine has praised the ski slopes as nothing but positive. It has even won the Building of the Year 2020 by ArcDaily. The waste-burning ski slope that replaced an old power plant is in the shape of a mountain that essentially allows for skiing, hiking, climbing, and on the inside it has furnaces that burn waste and turn the waste into energy. VM House. The first major achievement for Plot was the award-winning VM houses in Orested, Copenhagen in 2005, inspired by Le Corbusier's Unité d'Habitation concept. They designed 2 residential blocks in the shape of the letters V and M as seen from the sky. The M house with 95 units was completed in 2004 and the V house with 114 units in 2005. The design placed a strong emphasis on daylight, privacy, and views. Rather than looking over the neighboring building, all of the apartments have diagonal views of the surrounding fields. Corridors are short and bright, rather like open bullet holes through the building. There are some 80 different types of apartments in the complex, adaptable to individual needs. Ingels himself lived in the complex until 2008 when he moved into the adjacent mountain dwellings. Via 57, located on the west side of New York City, captured BIG's desire to break the box in both a physical and figurative sense. Built in 2016, the project steers clear of typical box-like buildings. BIG describes this project as a hybrid between the European perimeter block and a traditional Manhattan high-rise. Its use of courtyards to create a sense of privacy, security, and open space in addition to the preservation of the sightline to the Hudson River demonstrates BIG's value for designing with care for the site's built environment. The pyramid-like shape of the building captures the uniqueness of BIG's design and its effort to challenge the typical static building blocks of some architecture today, exhibiting Ingels' focus on individuality, security, greenery, and care for the built environment.
In addition to BIG's successful Via 57, 79th and Park is a residential building located in Stockholm near the Treasured National Park Guard, built in 2018. Once again exemplifying Ingels' focus on green integration, all 196 apartments have a private roof terrace with rich greenery, including trees on rooftops. The usage of organic cedar cladding continues into the courtyard, creating a space with opportunities for multiple uses. The unique layout of each unit creates an opportunity for anyone to live there, which demonstrates Bjarke Ingels' awareness for everyone's potential needs. BIG unveiled its latest intervention, the Toyota Woven City, the company's first venture in Japan. Nestled at the foothills of Mount Fuji, the project, in collaboration with Toyota Motor Corporation, is the world's first urban incubator, pushing forward the development and progress of mobility. Since the emergence of cities, trade and commerce have often been the focal point for public life. The last decade has seen the astronomical rise of e-commerce, putting the future of retail and street life in question. Furthermore, while the social network fosters virtual connectivity, it is at the expense of real human-to-human interaction. Toyota Woven City, together with Toyota's e-palette and the concept of mobility as a service, will act as a real-life testing platform for new forms of retail, dining, experiences, and bringing people together in the public realm. In Toyota Woven City, the typical road is split into 3, a street optimized for vehicular traffic with logistical traffic underneath, a promenade for micro-mobility such as bikes, scooters, and personal mobility, and finally, a linear park for pedestrians, flora, and fauna. These three strands form the DNA of the city, which are woven together to create a 3x3 city block module. While Toyota Woven City will be built from the ground up, the transformation of roads could be applied to any of the great cities in the world, such as Tokyo, Barcelona, or New York, simply by reprogramming the words, creating a renewed balance between people, mobility, and nature. Another one of Bjarke Ingels' futuristic city projects is Tolosa, a city that will be built in the desert and funded by former Walmart executive Mark Lohr. The city plans to be a utopian city for up to 5 million people with equal access to healthcare, excellent schooling, and safe environments for families, regardless of income. Their main focus is on making sure the community can build the city for themselves by buying all the land for the city and essentially renting it out to residents to build homes on. The money earned from renting out this land would theoretically go towards the city's healthcare, public education, and more city's infrastructure. Another way the city plans to be environmentally friendly is by banning all vehicles powered by fossil fuels and lining every street with trees and greenery to allow for more vegetation. However, there are some underlying problems with this lofty city plan. For one, the city plans to be built in the middle of the western desert in the United States, and adding random vegetation to the streets of this conceptual city might prove more harmful than good. According to Richard Conniff, an environmental reporter for Yale Environment, it is disturbingly evident that it's not enough for cities to plant 1 million trees, preach the gospel of backyard gardens, or build green roofs and smart trees. The trees, shrubs, and flowers in the green infrastructure also need to benefit birds, butterflies, and other animals. In the renders available online, there are many photos of different pine trees, evergreens, and eucalyptus trees lining the streets, which are all foreign biodiversity to the American desert landscape. That means that one of the main features of the city that Bjarke Ingels can actually control is not being utilized to promote environmental friendliness in the way the city is being marketed to. Bjarke Ingels markets himself as an environmentally conscious architect, but many question how cost-efficient and sustainable his buildings actually are. For example, in several of Ingels' buildings, such as Via 57 and 79th and Park, the buildings themselves are essentially normal buildings, just with outdoor spaces and trees thrown on top. These buildings appear to be green and eco-friendly, but really, the design and construction of them do not prioritize energy consumption, sustainability, or cost efficiency at all. One other project that received some criticism was the Copenhill waste-burning ski slope in Denmark. The surface of the building is a large hill where people can ski, hike, climb, and do activities, with a furnace that would burn the waste and turn it into energy underneath. However, despite it being praised for sustainability, authors of Collapsing Gracefully, Making a Built Environment That is Fit for the Future, ask the question of why Denmark, an already efficient country in recycling, would need a new plant when the old one that was there before Copenhill was doing just fine. Woven City and Tolosa are two future projects that aim to be sustainable and livable utopian cities that fulfill the environmental, eco-friendly ideals Ingels continues to value throughout his work. The feasibility of these lofty tasks and the execution of the biodiverse goals of the projects are questioned by many critics. The critiques Ingels continues to receive are all related to the actual sustainability of the projects, but his progressive ideas and revolutionary plans remain unquestioned. Bjarke Ingels is an inventive architect. His work is known for sustainability and being progressive. He's both praised and criticized for his many bold choices throughout his work. With his new projects, critics are questioning whether the execution of the biodiversity of the projects is possible or not. Despite Ingels' work being often described as unrealistically sustainable, his new work, involving the mix of pragmatic and utopian ideas, will develop what the future of sustainable architecture may be.